Hi everybody, Anthony here from Awesome Anthony Productions, and I got a new chair! But that's not why I brought you here today. Actually, today I'm going to give you my review of the directorial debut of Robin Williams' daughter, Zelda, written in the hilariously dry style of Diablo Cody, Lisa Frankenstein. But before we get started, you know exactly what to do. At the end of the video, if I've earned it, if you like the review, please leave me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss any of my new reviews. Now let's get into it. Lisa Frankenstein is an 80s style dark comedy that stars Katherine Newton as Lisa Swallows, a lonely outcast girl who unfortunately lost her mother in a tragedy. She now lives with her dad, played by Joe Crest, who gives us more of that useless dad energy that he brought so well to Stranger Things.
I hope you're enjoying your chicken, Ted.
What did I do?
Her new evil step monster, played by a delightfully evil Carla Gugino, and her popular cheerleader stepsister Taffy, played by Liza Soberano. But after taking a chance and going to a party with Taffy that goes to shit for her very quickly, Lisa finds herself meeting the reanimated corpse of a young man from the 1800s, played by Cole Sprouse, and she immediately connects with him. With her new friendship improving her mood and her confidence starting to skyrocket, Lisa starts to find herself and just be happier. There's just one problem. Her corpse zombie Frankenstein monster friend, he's missing a few body parts, and he has no problem swinging an axe at whoever he needs to get them. This year so far, after being severely let down by Night Swim, ISS, and even Argyle, which I was pretty excited for,
that movie sucked!
I was really hoping this was going to be a strong movie, especially knowing that it was written by Diablo Cody. In my opinion, between the quirky, sharply written wit of Juno, Jennifer's Body, Young Adult, she hasn't really missed yet from what I've seen. And I'm happy to report that this movie is definitely not a miss. And I enjoyed it as a dark comedy that's an effective homage to 80s rom-coms. However, it's definitely not perfect, so let me get my few complaints out of the way before I start praising this movie. Number one, in the way the movie tells its story, it's kind of all over the place. Until about the third act, there isn't that much of a through line connecting all the scenes here.
Very discernible point to this story,
Which sort of makes it feel like a slice-of-life indie movie set in this weird universe. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. I enjoyed Patterson, for example, and there's not shit that happens in that movie. But here, as the film goes on, regardless of the quality of the writing, the cast, and the comedy, it's hard to escape the feeling that we're just watching a movie with a bunch of disconnected scenes that doesn't really have an overarching plot. Though this does actually go away by the third act, as I said, and it has a very satisfying conclusion. Number two, the pacing isn't the most consistent. Some scenes started to drag on after a bit, while others felt like they didn't really have enough to them, which can feel a little bit whiplashy at times.
Whiplash.
And number three, just like I said with my review of Megan over a year ago, this is a strong movie that balances horror and comedy very well, but in my opinion, it desperately needed an R rating. I think that when dark comedies have such a light tone as this one, it can really be in the movie's benefit to push that contrast by upping the blood, gore, and scares during the scenes that aren't funny. But thankfully, these complaints were small and they really didn't take away from my enjoyment of the movie much, so let's get into what works here.
Okay.
Diablo Cody's writing is, as usual, smart, snappy, quirky, and just funny. Not all of the jokes land as well as they could, but every scene is filled with so many jokes that even when some miss, there's a ton more that hit. So many that you'll definitely chuckle a few times throughout this movie.
That's comedy.
There's also a few different types of comedy on display here, like Cody's signature awkward, quirky dialogue like I mentioned before, along with deadpan, some sex jokes, and even some slapstick when it comes to Cole Sprouse's zombie boy. And it all worked in my opinion, even if it is a little hit or miss like I said. But a well-written script doesn't mean shit if it's in the hand of a bad director and a bad cast. And thankfully for this movie, that's not the case.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
In her directorial debut, Zelda Williams proves that she has a very unique vision with telling this dark tale. A vision that I would love to see at the helm of another twisted story like this. A perfect example is how she takes that colorful, pristine nature of the 80s and juxtaposes it with sequences of dark, macabre imagery, but it never really gets to the point of being disturbing. And in a lot of cases, like a scene where our character has an extensive dream sequence or is just tripping balls.
Does anybody want to buy my shirt? I'll trade you my shirt for a grilled cheese!
It's honestly just straight up beautiful. She also clearly knows how to direct these actors because everyone gives a great performance here, especially Katherine Newton. Yeah, I know, I was not a fan of her character in Ant-Man 3 at all, but that wasn't because of her. That was just a rough script.
It's too late. I'm such a dick.
It's never too late to stop being a dick.
Here though, with a great script, a great cast to act off of, and practical sets and locations, she does a really great job. She embodies that role of a socially awkward loner very well, and gets a great chance to show off her comedic chops. And even with Cole Sprouse saying nothing throughout the film, she has great chemistry with him too. And he was strong here too, even with his lack of dialogue. He apparently spent months working with and studying mimes to learn how to best communicate without any dialogue, and though it occasionally slips into goofy when the film plays up the slapstick nature of him, it works and is kind of endearing.
Oh, that's nice.
Liza Soberano is also great as Taffy, a character that from the beginning you expect to just be the bitchy stepsister. She's just a genuinely flawed person that does actually care and has a lot more depth than you expect. Soberano sells that very well. Joe Crest, not much to say about him. He does the job, but he's basically playing the exact same role from Stranger Things. Like they plucked him out of the Wheeler house and dropped him right here, but it works. But the real standout here, in my humble opinion, is Carla Gugino as Lisa's stepmom. Wow, is she just unhinged here.
Lockdown. Jeez, what a bitch.
Between openly mocking Lisa and her mother's passing right to her face, and the fact that she blames her for every little thing that goes wrong in the house, Gugino absolutely nails it and just becomes someone that you really love to hate throughout the movie. I also thought the romance was played pretty well here too. It felt very true to what a mentally ill, depressed teenager's crushes and love life might look like, while still finding places to dip into the absurd or just take the extra step into edgy just for the sake of the comedy.
So edgy.
This is definitely helped by the tone as well, which manages to fit some truly dark and disturbing subject matter into a pretty light and fluffy package. I also enjoyed the ending too, and enjoyed that they actually had the balls to go where they did with this ending. But then again, this is one of the more original movies I've seen lately, and it goes to a lot of unexpected places. Overall, though it suffers from some pacing issues, the story can seem a bit inconsequential at times, and it could have used a bit more of a bite. This is a pretty funny dark comedy, with a strong script, great cast, effective tone and romance, and it was something that I walked out of with a smile. And that's my review of Lisa Frankenstein. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you know exactly what to do. I said it at the beginning. Please leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss any of my new content. It really helps out the channel. While you're at it, you can scroll down in the description, find the links to my social media, leave a comment, let me know if you saw the movie and what you thought, and while you're at it, you can click or tap on these cards right here. It'll take you to my review of Argyle, or just over to my channel where you can check out my reviews, my shorts, and my old shit. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next week for my review of Madam Web.